Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing good and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a story time. So the story takes place back in middle school. I believe it was either 6th or 7th grade, one of the two. But it was kind of like a bully story. I was never really bullied. I was never a victim of being bullied, partly because I'm just nice to everyone and I'm super tall, so nobody really messes with me. But yeah, I was much smaller at this point. And I really don't know what I did to this guy to make him dislike me. We're kind of friends now, so it's kind of weird. But back then, he had this super deep hatred for me, and I still to this day have no idea why. But anyway, we're not going to give his real name. We're just going to call him Trey for this story. That's a name I specifically picked just for this video. So it has nothing to do with his real name. It's nothing close to that even. So before we get into the fight, and I use that term very, very loosely, we're going to talk about some of the things that he did leading up to this point so you understand a little bit more on what type of things that he did to me and how obnoxious he was. So at this point, it was nothing serious whatsoever. He would do the little things like push the things on my desk off, which doesn't really do anything to me. It takes like 5 seconds to pick it all up. He'd give me dirty looks and just kind of taunt me, but his taunts were super bad, so they were more funny than anything. By the way, this kid literally looked like Mr. Clean with glasses on, so he was in no way intimidating whatsoever. I guess he just had pent-up aggression because he had no reason to take anything out on me, considering we never even conversated before any of this happened. So, like I said, I legitimately don't understand why he was so mad at me. So I was at, I believe it was my second period of the day, second or third. It was language arts, and I had him in my language arts class and only my language arts class, and I had lunch in that class. So we'd spend like 30 minutes in class, go to lunch for 30 minutes, and then come back, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact time, but we went to lunch like halfway between it. So on this day specifically, I would go to sit to the table. I just kind of sit there and I'd get the usual taunts from this kid. It wasn't like an everyday thing, but when he did it, it was just more funny. Like I mentioned earlier, his taunts were really, really bad. But they got kind of annoying because, like I said, I didn't really do anything to him, and I was just confused on why exactly he was taunting me in the first place. So a few minutes before our teacher came back to pick us up and bring us back to class, we stood up in a line, as we usually do, and this kid was standing right behind me. He tapped on my shoulder, and he just kind of put his fist in my face like a punching motion. He didn't actually hit me, but it was close enough to piss me off. So I just kind of lost control and decided to turn around, look in front of me, and then turn back around really fast and just kind of punch this kid in the side of the head. He didn't fall on the ground, but he stumbled back and he nearly fell. As he kind of looked up again, I punched him again, and that's when everybody in the line kind of looked at us and was pretty confused on what happened, besides the people that actually saw it and got a front row seat of me punching this kid in the side of the face 2 times. And one of the security guards came up, who, fun fact, actually got arrested for being the P word. I'm not going to go into that story. But yeah, he's more than likely in prison right now, and he can't go anywhere near kids or schools for the rest of his life. But after the 2 hits, before he was even able to do anything, and I'm pretty sure he was more rattled than anything, he wasn't going to hit me back in the first place. So the fight got broken up pretty quick, which is why at the beginning of the story I said I used the term fight very loosely, because we didn't exchange punches. I just kind of hit him twice and the fight got broken up before he was able to throw anything. But then the remaining adults in the lunchroom just kind of started to analyze the situation, came closer, and then ended up bringing us to the principal's office, where we were going to give our sides of the story, write statements, whatever. Usually that's what happens when you get into fights or altercations with other people in high school, middle school, whatever school really. So they ended up dropping us off in the principal's office, and they only dropped us off because she wasn't in there and we were just supposed to wait till she came back to talk about it. But that was kind of dumb because we literally just got done having an issue. So what was stopping me from hitting him on the side of the head 2 times again, or even knocking him out? Because there was no adult in the room at all. They literally just sat us right next to each other in one room. And I'm sitting on the left side of the room, just kind of sitting there looking at the wall. I wasn't really worried about the situation at all. It didn't really make much of a difference to me. Because as I've been taught, and I'm sure a lot of you have been as well, if someone messes with you or put their hands on you, whatever, then your parents are probably going to tell you, yeah, beat them up so they don't do that again. So that's exactly what I did. I hit him in the face twice, and we didn't really have too many issues after that. And the funny thing was, the dude who was messing with me is sitting right next to me with his hands over his face, just crying his eyes out. Now I'm sitting there not saying anything, but I'm laughing on the inside, knowing that this dude literally started the whole thing and he's crying because he got in trouble. Eventually the principal comes in, she talks to us about it, asks us what happened. We each explained our side of the story. His side of the story was that he was trying to tap me to see what class I had next, which was complete bullshit. That wasn't true at all. He wasn't tapping me to see what class I had next. He just straight up lied to her, and I had to explain myself on why exactly I did what I did. But the fact that this dude just tried to pull some random story out of his ass to try to save himself was super funny. I don't even know if she believed him or not, but considering how sad and heartfelt he looked, she probably did. So after we get done with the conversation, she ends up calling my dad first, and she explains to him what happened, but she decides to leave out the part where I was pretty much defending myself from him putting his fist in my face, literally less than a centimeter away from my nose, and him messing with me, like doing things like pushing things off my desk, giving me dirty looks, trash talking me, whatever. She leaves all of that out, even though I've explained it to her, and just says, oh yeah, well, your son hit somebody in the face, his parents could press charges, and I'm just sitting there like, what is this lady on? Why did you leave out what I told you just to try to make it seem like what I did was so bad and I just hit this kid for no reason? Like, this dude must have been smiling on the inside knowing that he was gonna get away scot-free. I ended up getting in-school suspension for the rest of that day, and I think for the couple days after that, but after the first day, I decided not to go anymore because there was no point. All I did was defended myself, and I wasn't gonna sit in a room, not do anything for an entire day, multiple times that week, and just sit there. Yeah, I was good. So I decided not to go, and I didn't even get in trouble for it. This whole thing actually took place on a Friday, and I believe I went to a restaurant that night, and I kind of talked to my dad about it over there. He wasn't even mad at me or anything. He literally completely understood, and he just kind of advocated for what I did, because like I said, a lot of parents, they'll tell you, if someone messes with you, you do something back so that way they stop, because the more you let them do it, the more they're going to want to do it because there's no reason for them to stop. But the next day I was supposed to have IS. I just kind of went with my grandma and we talked to the guidance counselor. Fantastic lady, super nice, very understanding, and she was pretty much understanding of my side of the story, saying how if she had a son who's in the same situation, she definitely wants them to fight back, but at the end of the day, it's school policy, you can't really do something like that. So I had to go to the IS, and I just didn't go. And to be honest, she just didn't really care. Like, I literally asked if I had to go to the IS, and I think she was super lenient with me, and I just didn't even go. Honestly, if she would have told me I had to go, I wouldn't have gone anyway, but it just didn't make much of a difference because there was no point. But I'm pretty sure he got IS too. I just didn't really see him because I wasn't there. But yeah, if he didn't, that'd be kind of messed up considering he did start everything. Just want to give you another little fun fact about this guy. He actually had a crush on the same girl that I did. She decided to buy him flowers, or my bad, he decided to buy her flowers from like this vendor at her school for Valentine's Day. She took the flowers but completely rejected him, and it was the funniest thing ever. Everybody at the table was laughing, and so was he, but his laughter was more of like an embarrassment laughter of disappointment, while everybody else was just laughing because him getting rejected was hilarious. Come to find out, like 2 years later, her and I were texting, and she ended up telling me that she had a crush on me because I told her that I had a crush on her back in like 6th or 7th grade. And yeah, she revealed it to me, and that was super funny because I thought in the back of my mind, this dude tried to ask her out and she had feelings for me the whole time. Pretty funny stuff. She also liked this other guy at the time as well, but him and I were cool. We were friends, and we still kind of are to this day, so that's not really worth mentioning too much. Just wanted to say it because it makes sense. And one of the funniest little jokes to come out of this whole thing was one time, myself, my entire class, and this kid specifically were walking to lunch again, right? Because everything has to happen at lunch. And he was arguing with this other dude in our class, and the dude was like a couple people behind me, and he said, if you continue to say stuff like that, I'm gonna get detailed to punch you in the face again. And it was so funny, dude. I couldn't even contain my laughter. It was hilarious. Obviously, he didn't call me Detail, but I'm just not going to say my name. But yeah, that was pretty much it. We didn't have too many issues after that. We did kind of have some spats in 9th grade, but none of them resulted in any sort of physical confrontation. And if they did, the dude literally would have gotten dropped. I'm like way taller than him now. I'm 6'2" now, but I was always taller than him, and I wasn't even 6'2" back then. I was probably like 5'8", so he's probably like 5'6" or something. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I love all of you guys. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye.